What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to review Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time, and it's about time for this review, right? I know the game's been out just a little under a week, and I felt like this would be a prime opportunity to talk about the game. So I'm not going to go over spoilers. I know people maybe would get upset if I did spoilers on a game like this. The story of Crash has never really been one that draws people in, although a early spoiler to my review is that the story of this game is actually pretty darn good. So we're going to talk about the positives of this game, the negatives, and go from there. Obviously, I've already made quite a few Crash videos that are already up on the channel, so make sure you check those out if you haven't. And also, the march for 40,000 continues. Now, I'm recording this a few days early, so maybe we are, enormously close to the 40,000 threshold, but if we're still not there yet, you could be one that helps me get there. So obviously, if you guys aren't subscribed, I would kindly ask you to hit that red button right underneath the video. If you find you hate me later, you can always unsub. So let's talk about this game. I love it. I love it. And I know, in the title, I talk about, is it a perfect Crash game? I do want to mention that. I do want to kind of have that as a centerpiece of this video because this game is so good. It really is. From the story, which, as I said, so we could start there. Again, I'm not going to spoil it. It's not the longest story in the world, okay? The story of Crash, like I said, has never really been something all that special. I've actually gone on record saying Crash Bash is like my favorite story, okay? This game, I think, does it extremely well. There are a lot of meta references, like they know where they are in the Crash universe, right? It's a game that really, and people have said it, it's a game that celebrates Crash. And I think when we talk about is it a perfect Crash game, I really do think it's about as close as we're going to get, truly, because is it the best one in the world? The games, the original, let's say even the original three, they are so special. I know a lot of people actually love Twin Sanity too, but the original games are so special. I mean, I remember playing them as a kid, as a young 5, 6, 7-year-old kid. So those are always going to be very, very special to me. And I said it before, playing this game now as a 24-year-old, and it's my God, I can't believe I'm playing it. I can't believe I'm playing a Crash game now, a brand new Crash game, because this seemed so impossible years ago. And I do think that lends itself into kind of liking the game a little bit more, because the game just generally has positive vibes to it. Because it's again, as I've said before, we've won. We won the battle to get Crash Bandicoot back. And the game fundamentally is just really good. It's hard. Again, as I said, they changed how they move. There's a little bit of a glide weightlessness to them, right? Remember we talked about sensitivity in this game? There is that. I mean, there is that, and it affects the game big time. It really changes how you play. It makes you double check or double guess your jumps and the distance that you have between things. So, I mean, there are things there that maybe not necessarily for the best. I mean, I would prefer them to go back to what the originals did. But again, you do have to you have to carve your own path. And I think the Insane Trilogy was the start of that. Obviously, that wasn't even Toys for Bob, but that was the start of it. And then these guys, they took that. And like I said, this is a lot more like Insane Trilogy with, I would say, even an additional spin on that. But look, the gameplay is really good once you get by that. And again, while it may be as annoying, it's something that, in my opinion, once you start to get into it, after you're playing this game 5, 6, 7, I mean, once you really start playing it, once you try to perfect every level, I mean, yeah, it's aggravating, and yeah, you're going to probably break a controller or two, but I mean, you tend to learn and you accept the kind of core gameplay mechanics the game has given you. But even besides that, or once you move on from that, the masks, all the new masks, I think are absolutely amazing. I absolutely love them. They're so good. Again, the story is actually really, really fun, really, really solid. Playing just as more than just Crash, right? Cortex, even Dingle Dial, who has always been one of my personal favorite characters in the Crash Bandicoot world. I mean, it's something special. It's something special. And I know one of the weaknesses that people talked about in the reviews, right? Remember when we went over the review scores, one of the negatives I saw people say was the level design, that some of them just weren't very inspired. I don't know what they're talking about. I think there are some better ones than others, that's for sure. They're not all perfect, but I really love them. I think at least levels I've played are all very, very good. Lots of detail, lots of diversity, right? Not for the sake of diversity, but literally just diversity. Different enemies, different platforms, different systems of getting around. And then once you add in the masks, you completely change how the game is. Obviously, there's like doing it backwards mode, right? There's so much to this game. And that's another thing too. It's not the longest game in the world, but there's plenty of levels. You have like the reverse mode. You have multiple challenge areas. You have lots of things to do. You have obviously perfecting every every level, which will probably take you several attempts for each one. So it's a game that is kind of deceivingly small because it seems maybe small, but it's, I mean, for anybody that's played it, obviously we know it absolutely isn't. This is a game that's right up my alley. I mean, I knew I'd like this game. I actually said this leading into it, where I felt this would be one of the safer games coming out in October and November, where it maybe isn't even getting all that much talk because we're just expecting a good product. Like, I don't think many people were going into Crash expecting it to be bad. You know what I mean? I think we were all expecting it to just be at the very worst, just a really solid game that we'd all have fun with, and then it could only go up from there. So safe, I think is the best word. Whereas like Star Wars Squadrons, I would say isn't safe. Watch Dogs, A Little Hope. These games are not the safest games in the world. I think Crash kind of had that stigma with it, which is not, by the way, all that bad. And, and that's kind of my mentality I had with it, where it's like, I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm very excited for it. I stopped watching gameplay, I'd say right around Gamescom. I watched, that presentation Jeff Keighley did. And then after that, there were other things that came out. I didn't watch any of it. I was done. I was like, I know I'm going to like this game. I've obviously loved Crash games since I was, again, like 5 or 6 years old. So I know I'm going to like it. I'm not going to look up anything else. And then playing it, again, getting over the initial like difference in how Crash actually, moves. After that, it's like, this is exactly what I wanted. It's so special to be able to play a Crash game now that it's outrageously awesome. I mean, I can use the same words over and over to describe it, but I'm so happy with this game. This is a game that, when I look throughout the year, is it my favorite game of the year? It's close. It's honestly, I will tell you this, I didn't expect this game. In fact, I even think I said this when I was saying, okay, let's rank, because I think I ranked my top games of the first half of the year, and I was talking about games in the second half that could maybe dethrone games tonight. Cyberpunk, Miles, Demon's Souls, these are games that could do it. Crash is one. Crash absolutely, I would say, has made my top 5, and is, I guess by doing so, has pushed the game out of it. And I think that's very, very awesome. I didn't necessarily expect it to do that, but I'm so pleased with this game. So obviously, I think it needs to be up your alley if you're not into punishing games. And it's not punishing like Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, Sekiro. It's not the From Software kind of punishing. It's not a Velocity 2X. It's not a Housemarque, Resogun or Nex Machina. It's none of those kind of difficult. It's a different kind of difficult, honestly. And if that's not for you, or if you've never been a fan of Crash, or if you didn't like Insane Trilogy, I'd say Insane Trilogy is the best thing to go by. If you liked Insane Trilogy, whether you're a longtime Crash fan or that was the first time you jumped into it, this is a game right up your alley. I mean, yeah, it's $60, but I 1000% think it's worth it. I would say this is worth it more than like Star Wars Squadrons is worth it. And then you go throughout the month, and there's games, but there's actually not that many games. Crash is actually kind of has the opportunity all to himself. So I would definitely advise, if you guys are into it, or you're looking for a difficult game to play, or you love Crash, chances are you've already bought it. I'm very, very happy with this game. Easily one of my top games of the year, which we'll have to go through a list as we get to the end of the year. Once we get to December, we'll have lots of videos like that, okay? So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Do you have Crash, or did you get it? Are you waiting on it? Let me know. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed. Again, getting very close to 40,000. We could already have it, but hey, 41,000 is the next 1,000 mark, so let's try and hit that one next, obviously. But no, obviously, make sure you guys are subscribed if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all of these videos go up. Thank you all so much. I'll do more Crash videos, obviously, in the coming weeks, coming months, coming years, but this is the end of kind of the every day, every other day kind of content. Thank you so much for all of you guys that have watched all of my videos on this game. Like I said, there'll be plenty more as the years go on, okay? Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.